3 goals and 3 points for Ruben Amorim to kickstart his Manchester United career at Old Trafford. It was a much improved team performance from Ipswich, and there were plenty of changes and tweaks. Let me run through all the important takeaways we learned from that game that Amorim will take into Everton on Sunday, including a man-of-the-match performance and 2 goals from Rasmus Hojlund. So Ruben Amorim has completed his first week as Manchester United head coach. We had the first game away at Ipswich, which was largely disappointing. But last night at Old Trafford, I think we really saw the beginnings of the identity that Ruben Amorim wants to bring to this team, especially in that second half. I'm going to run through the 5 main things I think you should be taking away from that game. You can let me know what you think in the comments below. And drop a like on the video. Come on, people. But number 1 on the list was Amorim's welcome at Old Trafford. You could tell he enjoyed it. He was speaking after the game saying, I haven't done anything, but the fans make me feel at home straight away. And that's what United fans do, man. We support. It's why it always comes as not a bit of a surprise, but when you do hear United fans booing, they really do mean it. For Amorim, he was there in front of the cameras. He got the win on his first game. Was it perfect? No, but it was certainly a massive improvement from what we saw in the first game. And seeing Amorim celebrating Hojlund's winner. Well, actually, it was the second goal I think that was for. But he enjoyed it. And I think he was a little bit surprised or shocked by it as well. Anyway, number 2 on the list, I want to speak about the identity and the fact that I think it's already visible after a couple of games. Now, in his post-match interview, he spoke about how right now, winning is the most important thing because that time is going to give me the ability to really get my identity in place because it's going to reach a point where winning isn't enough. Now, last night, I think there was a massive improvement, particularly in the second half, and I'll speak about the tactical tweaks next because I think that's a separate point. But he was talking about how United improved on the ball. There was better tempo. There was better with the team height and pushing higher up the pitch, creating more opportunities. And here is a really visual example of how much United were camped in Bodo Glimt's half. Look at the average positions there. Onana outside his box. De Ligt basically on the halfway line. Everybody else, the average position of them, and this is in the first half actually. So it goes to show you, it wasn't really just the second half where United were largely dominant. We were in their half. And these two were really, really important and part of that. Mazraoui and Martinez. All right, you can see here that both of them were the key ball progressors. And this little screenshot here is an example from the second half. Because you can see down there, you've got Martinez and you've got Mazraoui. So that's your 2 centre-backs, right? That high up the pitch. You've probably got De Ligt back here marking, I'm not sure who else with. Then you've got your right wing-back, your central midfielder pushed up, your number 10, your other central midfielder, and your number 9. And of course, this is where Mazraoui finds Mason Mount. Mason Mount finds Ugarte with that lovely ball. Ugarte makes that run straight across Hojlund. Easy. Money. But that is a perfect example of seeing the Amorim identity. A high defensive line backing up the central midfielders. The central midfielders backing up the attack. The lines being more compact between them. That is what he wants to bring to this team. And I think we really saw it, especially in that second half. And speaking about the second half, I want to speak about the in-game management. Because there was a little bit of a tweak that Amorim did. And it was mainly around Garnacho and Dalot. So Dalot came on at halftime for Malacia, who obviously got left for dead with that ball over the top. He might be fit, but he's not match fit. He's lost a little bit of that sharpness, and I hope for his sake that he brings it back. But what he did in the second half, and this is a good screenshot to identify it, you've got Dalot there who's come on now as the left wing back, actually playing inside Garnacho, who is down as one of the inside forwards. So effectively what Amorim did was he gave Garnacho the freedom to hold more width and for Dalot to actually cut inside. It was a tiny tweak. It wasn't as if he was throwing the system out the window. But when United were in possession, Dalot was drifting inside a little bit, which is actually kind of funny because it was last game that Ruben Amorim was telling him that Dalot needs to get used to staying outside because he's so used to drifting inside as a central midfielder. But in this game, he asked him to do it because it worked in that game, in that scenario. And that sort of tactical flexibility is something that a lot of United fans will really love to see. It's not about throwing a system out the window. All the same principles are there. And I think this is why Amorim keeps emphasising. He goes, it doesn't really matter whether we play 3 at the back, 4 at the back. It doesn't really matter. It's all about the principles and the structure. And you can do little tiny tweaks there. And the fact that the players were able to understand that, it goes to show you that he's communicating well. And something I also think that he got pretty spot on was his subs. I like the timing of these subs. 46, 59, 60, 60, and 66. It always annoys me when you see subs coming on for like in the 88th minute going, oh, what is that player supposed to do? How is that player supposed to change a game? But the subs, look, Mazraoui was obvious. Rashford on for Mount, Shaw on for Martinez. Partly some of these were due to fitness related, like De Ligt coming off for Casemiro. I actually think Casemiro is a central centre-back option. It makes sense. I can understand that because then you don't need Casemiro to get involved in too much of the pressing because that's the 2 central midfielders. And you actually allow Casemiro, when you play with a higher defensive line, to actually operate in more of a defensive midfield position. But actually looking for passes. I actually think that could work for Casemiro. I thought his in-game management in the second half was bang on. And I think it contributed to United winning that game. As did, of course, Rasmus Hojlund. And Rasmus Hojlund, lo and behold, he is a good goal scorer. Very good goal scorer. Both of the goals were top draw in different sorts of ways. And of course, he created the first goal as well. He spoke after the game saying, same thing. How he is going to enjoy working under Amorim and he feels like the system is correct. But as much as Amorim praised him after the game, Amorim also pointed out where he needs to improve. And he's done this with a lot of players now. Dalot saying he needs to operate with better positions inside. Hojlund, that he needs to take less touches as a striker. Bruno, that sometimes when he drops deep, he doesn't always need that pass over the top. He didn't word it verbatim like that. But he's been speaking about these players, pointing out what they're doing right, but also from a constructive criticism perspective, saying this is where we can improve. And I think that's what a good coach does. And a player should be able to take, because that is constructive criticism. He holds the ball too much. That's what he's saying. He takes too many touches. If you want to be a clinical striker, take less touches. Get inside the box more. But Hojlund, man of the match yesterday. And it's amazing what happens when you've got a striker in the box who gets service and he scores from 2 crosses. Geez, incredible. Mind-boggling news. And the final point, number 5, which could easily be number 1. We need more Mazraouis. All right? Mazraoui, I've waxed lyrical about him all season, really. Every single game, he's there. He's reliable. Left wing back, fine. Left back, fine. Left centre back, fine. Right centre back, fine. Right wing back, fine. Number 10, not so much. Mazraoui is fantastic. And as Ruben Amorim says there, he's the kind of player we need. And he does look fresh. Even right to the end, he still looks fresh. His decision-making, his reliability, his consistency has made him the best value signing that Man United have made this season, arguably in the league, and we need more of them. And if we had 6, 7, 8 Mazraouis in this team, we wouldn't be in this position or this problem. But Amorim enjoyed his first game at Old Trafford. Was it perfect? Far from it. But we really did see the identity. And I'll go back to this. This is what... You can see the shape. You can see the back 3. You can see the 2 central midfielders. You can see the shape. And you saw how in Bodo's half United were. And the second half with the tactical tweaks, it really helped United get a grip of that game. Let me know what you think in the comments below. But I'm looking forward to Everton. And it's all about building that identity game by game. And between Ipswich and Bodo, Glimt, you saw progression. And that's what I want to see.